Hi there, it's Colin here. This is a short video to give you a little bit of insight into how the Pendleton feedback model works in practice. What we've done is set up a scenario. It's a scenario for myself and Gloria where I play the role of her boss, and she plays the role of somebody who has been tasked with something. In this case, there's a large project that we've been engaged with together, and has asked me at the beginning of that process to give her some feedback on a particular element of the work that she has done. As you go through this scenario, I'd like you to think about a few things and jump back into what you're expecting from the Pendleton method. So first of all, notice how they've gone about setting up a partnership. So in this case, actually in the video, you'll hear them refer to the word alliance. That's just another word for the partnership that they've established. And think about, have they done enough? Have they set it up so that it's clear exactly what Gloria is wanting from Colin, from me, as by way of feedback? And is that working for both of them in terms of having set the sufficient clarity for the purposes of a comprehensive feedback? The second is then to watch how the model is followed through its four core steps, and think specifically about two things. Firstly, that the initial part of the feedback that's given is by both parties is in relation to what went well. So what has Gloria done that's gone well, and that builds a level of confidence and an openness to further feedback. The second step is then, what would she do differently? What didn't go quite so well and could be done in a slightly different way next time to get perhaps a better outcome? There's no guarantees in these things. It's something that both parties should engage in and think about and determine that something to try here. A good coach will obviously come up with something pretty insightful. So the second piece is then the fact that the performer gives the feedback first. This means that Gloria, in this case, is actually reviewing her own performance, both in relation to what went well and what didn't go quite so well, and perhaps should do differently next time, given the opportunity to do so. This allows her to engage in the process of the feedback and own the feedback. So she's in control of the process almost. Although the coach is the one giving feedback, she's asked for the feedback, and she's the one that's facilitating it by giving her point of view first. Obviously, the coach then comes in with their point of view of what could be done differently next time. And this is perhaps the most powerful element of the feedback process, the one where, to the extent that notes should be taken anyway, this is where the important notes should be taken by Gloria in terms of understanding what the coach is suggesting. And that process of getting clarification is an important part of that step as well. Asking questions to make sure that the performer, fully understands what the coach is suggesting, what piece of work or element of the work it relates to, so that there's no opportunity for miscommunication there. So I hope you find this useful, this practical example of how Pendleton works. For me, I think you find it very useful to compare how this plays out versus how feedback in the place that you are at the moment, the organization that you are at the moment, how that works in practice. So enjoy. Hope you find it useful. If you've got any comments, leave them afterwards. Thank you. Yes, please. Hey, Gloria, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Colin?
Yeah, not too bad at all. What can I do for you?
Okay, remember we set up an alliance before that for you to give me feedback on the Bright Lab project, especially on how I summarized my work for you so that it's easier for you to take it to the next step.
Yeah, I remember we had quite a long discussion. We formed an alliance in terms of how we are engaging and particularly you're interested in, did I have the information, the tools for me to take it on to the next level for the conversation with the client to be easy for me. So yes, I remember the alliance, and I mean, it's fresh in my mind. You've only just delivered the report to me, so that's great. So it's here on my desk. I do have some feedback for you, and I am ready to go through the 2x2 process if you are.
Yes, I am. Great. Let's get started.
Okay, cool. So I'm the coach in this process, and you're obviously the performer. So from my perspective, so the first question for you, of course, is what do you think, given the alliance that we formed, what do you think that you did well?
Well, I think the one thing that I did well was I summarized my key steps for you so that you knew how I arrived at my final conclusion.
Okay, my feedback to you is fairly similar, actually. The thing that I think that you did really well was that you were very comprehensive in all the things that you felt that I should consider as I'm pushing this forward to the client. So there's nothing that I felt that, having read the whole report in your summary to me, that I felt you'd missed at all. So that was great. I really appreciated the fact that you'd thought through that and made sure that everything that I needed to know was there. Okay, that's great. So in terms of do differently, reflecting on what you've done, is there anything that you feel that you would like to do differently next time in order to create a slightly better result for me?
Well, while I was doing the project, there were actually areas that I wasn't confident about. So I think one thing that I could have done differently is to actually point out those specific things for you so that you could take an actual look, and that would just be easier.
Okay, that's great, and it'll be good to talk about that and understand what those issues are, because obviously right now I don't. So that's a really good point. Thank you. From my side, in terms of what I think you might want to consider and do differently next time, for me, sifting through, I didn't have a hierarchy of importance. I didn't know which were the most important issues in your mind. So I got a very comprehensive list, but in terms of which ones should I really focus on in my conversation with the clients, giving me a top 5 or something like that would have helped me understand. It's not, I'll draw my own conclusions, but I want to know what's in your head so that when we go to the customer, we've got a really good idea of a combined idea of how we should do things. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, I think so. I totally missed that. I didn't put out how I prioritized things. Now I see how that could have helped.
And you
Thank you very
understand
much.
how it's a benefit to me and you and the customer. That's great.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
great.
Okay.
Thank you. And I've taken notes of all the things you have said, and I will definitely implement those the next time I deliver a project for you.
Well, it's my pleasure as always. So thanks very much. And we look forward to doing the next project together.
Definitely. Thank you, Coach.
Cheers.